Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm the inspirational Andy Murray, aka Sinead O'Connor, after a 3-day bender. And remember, say it like you stole it, patter appropriation.
And this is the news. And we start with some big news from SmackDown Live. We have a new SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte Flair defeated Asuka via submission in an impromptu title match on last night's SmackDown Live. Big shock, this.
Yeah, this was mental, wasn't it? Because we all came into the show expecting that dark four-way that was advertised all week, and the participants were hyping up as recently as yesterday afternoon. And then, of course, card subject to change. It didn't happen. We got this title match. The match itself was bloody awesome, by the way. Really, really good match. And yeah, Charlotte is suddenly the SmackDown Women's Champion.
A record breaker, or just a momentous 8th time as a women's champion. Effectively, her main event credentials were questioned by Becky Lynch just beforehand, saying, look, Ronda brings the title, I bring the crowd, what the hell does Charlotte bring? Out she came, said, I'll show you what I bring.
Another title.
And then just randomly got chucked in, which does sort of make sense because she is the chosen one for WWE. Randomly chucked into a title match against Asuka, managed to submit her with the figure 8. So she takes the SmackDown Women's Championship into that main event of WrestleMania. The question coming off the back of this, though, is this going to become a title unification match?
I don't think it is. WWE have specifically said at the moment that it will not be. Of course, that doesn't mean that much, but I don't think it will be, no. Which kind of makes me wonder why on earth they did this. I mean, the third wheel comments that Becky made were on point because she was, but surely Charlotte, as one of the villains in this match, should be playing that up rather than going, no, I'm determined and I'm going to prove you that I belong. Surely she should be. Yeah, I'm entitled. Yeah, I've been thrown in. What of it? That's what heels do. This whole thing was very weird. The match was great.
Oh, yeah.
Asuka looks like a nerd. I'm not sure what the point of the whole thing is, but maybe it'll be a nice visual at the end of the show. I don't know.
And at the end of the day, anything that gets us to slim down on some of the WrestleMania matches is okay by me.
Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, I wasn't really all that excited about a 4-minute Asuka squash on WrestleMania, but I don't know, I didn't really see this coming, so good to the writers for keeping us guessing and so forth. But, you know, a bit of a curious move. It's interesting now as well that Becky's the only one, being the hottest wrestler in the company, she's the only one going into this match without a belt. So that gives Charlotte and Ronda something to bash at her on Raw as well, which could make for an interesting back and forth.
But of course, they can't interfere with each other on the tag match on Raw next week, or they are out of the title match.
They are out indeed. So, other big WrestleMania developments on this week. SmackDown, Kofi Kingston is finally going to WrestleMania. So this week, we saw the New Day come to the ring at the top of the show. They were doing their usual kind of, we might quit, blah, blah, blah. We're upset with how things are going. They did their usual spiel. Out came Vince McMahon and Daniel Bryan. Eventually, Vince decided, well, I'm going to book you in another gauntlet match because the booking team have run out of ideas. This time, though, it was Big E and Xavier Woods in a tag team gauntlet. So they beat Gallows and Anderson in about a minute. I don't think Anderson or Gallows landed a single move. It was funny. Rusev and Nakamura, they kind of worked their way past them. The Bar, really great segment there. The Bar beat them up afterwards, put Big E through a table. Out came the Usos and said, nah, we've worked all kinds of crazy battles against you guys in the past. We're going to forfeit this.
Love that. Saying Kofi
really
deserves
good.
it. Fantastic move all round.
Great bit of booking. And then after that, of course, we got Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. The New Day won. Kofi's going to WrestleMania. It was a shorter gauntlet. It was more concise than the past few ones. But now the WWE title match is set, and this is all very exciting.
Just like to point out, as Michael Hamflett did in the office this morning, though, that despite the fact that Daniel Bryan and Rowan lost the match, Rowan was not pinned. They are protecting him. They lost because Rowan was counted out after he had an announce table tipped onto him by Big E.
Which is fair enough, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, you know, it was slightly convoluted, but it was an enjoyable process. I got really hyped, as I did last week for the gauntlet match. And then loved the conclusion, and then obviously you had now you have Kofi Kingston in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. We've got there in the end, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, finally. Like, I'm quite glad in a way that they didn't just like go and completely rip off another Daniel Bryan B+ player trope. Like, it would have been so easy for them to have like an Occupy SmackDown or something of that nature, but they did. They went for another gauntlet match, and these things are starting to suffer from diminishing returns. We've had 3 in a month and a half. That's a lot. But it was a good match, can't complain too much.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of WrestleMania, 2 big rumoured appearances by WWE legends have been revealed by Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Apparently, Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin could well appear at WrestleMania 35 and be making appearances throughout WrestleMania weekend.
Ooh, so who are they burying then? Who are they burying at WrestleMania, brother?
Elias, maybe?
Elias
always
seems
go with
about
Elias.
right, yeah. I mean, if The Undertaker's not going to be there to beat someone up, I guess that's probably a good shout.
Now, the story you're going to get onto kind of relates to why Hulk Hogan may well be getting involved in this. But this sort of is emblematic of him returning to the WWE fold. Of course, he had all that controversy a few years ago. He last appeared at WrestleMania, I think WrestleMania 31, where him and his NWO boys got involved in the Triple H Sting match.
That was awesome. I love that match. It's terrible, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, he had all that controversy. He was fired from WWE. He was removed from the Hall of Fame. He's removed every reference of him was removed from their website. But he slowly worked his way back in. He's reinstated. He obviously made an appearance at Crown Jewel, and he returned to Monday Night Raw to pay his respects to Gene Okerlund. This would seem to be the final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it kind of falls in line with the way they've been doing things, doesn't it? We'll get to the next point in just a second. It's Hulk Hogan, it's WrestleMania. He's going to get a big pop. He just is. He's a pretty gross human being. The man admitted he's a racist, for God's sake. But he's going to get a big pop. It kind of fits their mode of operation. Steve Austin, it's Steve Austin, isn't it? He's going to blow the roof off.
Exactly. See, people may moan about these random nostalgia trips that they have, but it's mine and yours first WrestleMania, and I, for one, would love them to appear in whatever segment they want to get involved in.
Hey, listen, I can sit here and say Hulk Hogan's gross and all this stuff. I guarantee when that music hits, I'm going to be out of my chair screaming like a 12-year-old as well. So it's such hypocritical nonsense, but here we are. We're wrestling fans. Hey! So, our last story. Got a big name Hall of Fame inductee for you here. Who do you think it is?
Oh, Gangrel?
Gangrel? It's not Gangrel. I'll give you 2 more guesses.
The Bruise, or...
It's not the Brood. And it's not Gangrel.
I'm sure it's not Gangrel.
I'm sure it's not Gangrel.
I don't know then.
It's even better.
Wow.
It's Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Yay!
So, of course, Hulk Hogan's big mate, Ed Leslie, is probably going into the Hall of Fame. This is according to a radio advertisement, and I have to look at the station's name here because I totally forgot it. WHTZ 100.3 FM. Get a catchier name, you
WHTZ.
bunch of goobers. They're advertising Brutus Beefcake as part of the class. So that's very interesting because it means it's a very convenient way for WWE to get Hulk Hogan on the Hall of Fame show, because obviously Ed Leslie, the criticism of him is that he's had so many opportunities because he's associated with the Hulkster. Now Hulk's going to be the guy who inducts him, right? I mean, who else could possibly do it? And to be fair, let's not be totally harsh to Mr. Beefcake. He was at the heart of some pretty big moments back in the day. He was over to a certain degree, particularly in the early 90s. Whether or not that warrants an induction into the Hall of Fame is up for debate, but let's remember, this is very much a gimmick Hall of Fame. These inductions don't mean all that much.
Yeah, I love it when people say, oh, they've got so-and-so's got to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's just who Vince wants.
Yeah.
That's all it is every year. Don't act like there's any sort of voting process. Yeah, it does mean that could well be the case. It also means probably someone's getting fired on that radio station. But yeah, I think it's fair enough. And like we said, if it gets Hulk back at WrestleMania, I'll take it.
Sure.
Let's move on to today's Twitter questions. Then don't forget you can tweet them at us at WhatCulture WWE. Let's start with this question from Kevin Pascal. Loved this question that he sent to us yesterday. He says, "Hey guys, we all saw the pay-per-views between WrestleMania 34 and WrestleMania 35, but which one was your favourite and which one was your least favourite?"
Oh my goodness. Favourite Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I think quality card top to bottom. Traditional elimination matches were good, but then we got the great singles title matches as well. Charlotte versus Ronda was one of my favourite matches of the year. It was so messy and sloppy and nasty. Just a really great show all around. Worst? Extreme Rules.
Yeah, that wasn't great at all.
That Iron Man match was absolute trash, and then of course we got more nonsense with Carmella and Asuka, which I did not like. Not a good pay-per-view at all.
My least favourite, I didn't even have to think about this, and myself and Adam Nicholas did a live stream for Backlash, and we're furious.
Yeah.
Very happy if they finally decide to get rid of Backlash. I know it's been swapped with Money in the Bank this year, but yeah, just dreadful all round. Obviously the last match, Roman versus Samoa Joe, got booed out of the building, or people just left, and there was that ridiculous finish to AJ versus Shinsuke.
It's just really bad stuff.
Favourite, I would have said Survivor Series. If I can't say that, I'm going to say people aren't going to like this in the comment section. Evolution.
You know what else people are going to like in the comment section? Crown Jewel. I think Crown Jewel was simultaneously my least favourite and favourite pay-per-view of the year.
Banter pay-per-view.
It was the banter pay-per-view of the summer. It wasn't in summer. When was it?
Yeah, towards the end of the year.
Yeah, let's see. I don't know.
And also shout out to Greatest Royal Rumble Titus Worldwide.
Remember when Kane's wig fell off?
Handsome Rob with our second question of today. He says, with a 2-hour pre-show and a 4 to 5 hour main show, you wish, will the crowd be too tired by the time the main event rolls around and the reception won't be what's expected?
Yeah, it's probably going to be, what, a 2-hour pre-show and a 6 to 7 hour main show, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's a very real concern. We saw it last year. Like, I know it was Roman versus Brock and no one was really that fired up for it anyway, but you could have heard a rat piss on cotton in that building, to quote the great man Chael Sonnen there. It's a very big concern. You know, the women are in this great spot at the end of the show, but people are going to have been in that building for what is essentially a shift at work. People are going to be tired. You're going to have consumed like 2 square meals in that time. Like, you know, it's going to be really hard to maintain that level of energy, but I think if there's any match that can transcend that tiredness, it's this one.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm worried about it, but I'm hoping WWE looks at that card with, 17, 18 matches, let's say?
25.
And tries to space it out a little bit. Think about the way it's going to run. And I think the odd cameo, like a Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan, could pick the crowd up. Yeah. That could really help. And I think, I've heard this mentioned before, an opener, a big opener, a shock opener, like the Universal Championship going on first at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's how you start off and really keep it varied.
Crowd-pleasing victory
so you've not got
Seth the Chef.
You know, big crowd-popping matches, one after another towards the end.
Seth's losing though, isn't he?
Moving on to today's final question, to someone who's just changed their name on Twitter to #ThankYouGronk. And they ask, do you guys think that Kofi, Rob Gronkowski in it, with a weird photo of him with his new hair. Oh, has he got a dog on his head or something? A cat or something on his head? Anyway. And he says, do you think that Kofi is going to get the title since Daniel Bryan won't go to Saudi Arabia and that show is in May?
Ooh, excellent stuff. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of it that way. Like, that's a distinct possibility, because obviously we saw WWE Hotshot the first Daniel Bryan AJ Styles match on SmackDown before Crown Jewel. Was it Crown Jewel or the Greatest Royal Rumble? It was Crown Jewel, yeah. Crown Jewel. Yeah, no, I can 100% see that happening. Like, there's a very strong possibility. I think that looking at the big title matches at WrestleMania, obviously you've got your WWE, your Universal, and the Raw Women's title matches. Those are the big 3 as far as title matches go. A heel is going to have to win at least one of those. Just the way WWE book. Previously, I had Daniel Bryan down as winning this because the underdog doesn't always have to win. Sometimes the underdog just gets to the end and they lose. That's fine. But thinking about it that way, yeah, it's probably going to be Seth losing, isn't it? Imagine if Charlotte pinned Becky.
Don't. Let's move on to today's and finally, and it relates to the Charlotte-Becky run the thing here because Becky has been on fire, on fuego, yet again on Twitter. You may have seen that Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte were on ESPN yesterday, and Becky tweeted a photo of them appearing on it and changed the graphics. No, normally underneath it'd say Andy Murray, hardest man in the office, or whatever.
In the universe, but yes.
Yeah. So she changed theirs. So she changed hers. It says, as you can see here, Becky Lynch did it by herself, is the man. Charlotte Flair, she changed to Ric Flair's daughter, handed everything. And my personal favourite, it says, Ronda Rousey, Paul Heyman's daughter, is whiny. Stellar work.
Very good.
Yet again from Becky Lynch on Twitter. Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below, and you can tweet us your Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE. Well, actually, there you can follow both of us. You can follow him at
Andy H. Murray.
You can follow me at Adam Wilman. You can follow our lovely editor at It's Adam Nicholas. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
Gangrel.